Hi, this is Miss Salas, and we're going to peek in on Mr. Moralia and Miss Caldwell as they prepare for National History Day. Let's see what they're doing.
So, I was hearing about on NPR, there's a huge migration crisis in Europe. Now, why are all these migrants coming to Europe?
Well, I think that they're exploring freedom because what they're doing is they're leaving Syria and Iraq. They're leaving the terrorist groups. They're from the hands of the terrorist groups of ISIS and other groups. And they're the whole idea of freedom. They're actually exploring it, trying to get out of their own country. And then when they get to why are they arriving in Europe? Why not go to Russia or Africa?
Yeah, they're purposely exploring, right? They're purposely going to Europe, and they're not going, to maybe countries like Russia where they don't have as many freedoms, say,
Right.
as in the European Union. And that's why maybe they're not going to communist China right now.
So there's obviously the idea of freedom. There's that idea of it's maybe the cultural freedom, religious freedom, or just freedom in general, something we don't really think of much about because we have so much of it here. So then they arrive in Europe, and the term encounter, they're encountering all kinds of things, the hardships, just leaving their country, they're encountering hardships. They have to cross through other countries.
And then they encounter not just the physical barriers like walls and security, and I think Hungary just closed its borders as well, but they're also facing discrimination.
Right.
They're encountering maybe Islamophobia because
Yes.
it's based on their religion or
Right.
even the color of their skin.
Yeah, there's all kinds of encounters, and then encountering new culture itself. They're coming into, unless they can find their own communities, which I think that's probably one of the reasons why they are going to these other communities, because maybe some of these communities are already established with the Muslims already established in Germany. There's a large contingent of Muslims there. And so, but to get there, they're encountering, as you said, all these other barriers, whether they're physical, emotional barriers. There's just a whole list of things. It's quite amazing. I was hearing a guy, some doctor that had walked 1,000 kilometers walking. The guy walked 1,000 kilometers just to get to, I think it was Hungary. And they're asking him, like, why he did it. So there's some really good personal stories in these whole themes. And then the idea of exchange. When you get to a new country, what type of you look at the ideas that are exchanged. What type of ideas could be possibly exchanged in these countries?
Evelyn Ramirez, please come to
Even
the office.
for exchange,
Evelyn
economic
Ramirez.
exchange, so then they'd have to, so when they do arrive to these countries, I mean, they are going to have to find a job in these communities and somehow, so there is an economic exchange that happens, and maybe European countries are aging, right?
Right.
They have less children, so maybe they actually need
That
younger.
actually we know about, because the population growth in these countries is actually greatly diminished. I mean, it's less than 1% or something like that.
Yeah. In Germany too, it's a manufacturing and industrial economy, so they need those young people.
So these people are now become part of the workforce, so they're part of an exchange.
So maybe, I'm curious, maybe this might benefit Europe in terms of economic productivity
Yeah.
if they can be absorbed correctly into the European Union.
Uh-huh.
But
Right.
what happens if they keep coming? They won't be able to absorb them.
Right. So then those barriers are put up, and they stop them from coming in, and you've got a whole different problem.
So we've touched on every one.
Yeah, I think we did, and we see how they're interconnected. It's not just encounter by itself, but encounter leads to exchange, and exchange could go back to exploration too, so that all of them are interrelated.
Well, there you have it. Exploration, encounter, and exchange.